All right. Good afternoon. I'm gonna wait a little bit for the audience to build up. But the shit has really hit the fan, hasn't it?
Oh
Wow.
yeah,
You know, I
it's a
haven't
bloodbath in the indices.
I hadn't even looked at the indices until just right now because I was focused on those individual names, which for the most part were immune to what's going on here. But wow, S SPY heading to the 50 DMA. Whew, we're probably gonna overshoot the 50 DMA. Bitcoin breaking below 74,000 support. It's right on 74,000 support. Wow, that's a big support area. I guess 69,000 is next. If 73,800. It's around 74,000. So yeah, let's just you can see me poking around stuff. We have a SNES Tech interview at 2 p.m. That's ticker symbol SNES. All right, so stay tuned for that, and we're gonna continue live trading after that. Just gonna run through my watch list and look at these charts and wait for the audience to build before I kind of give any formal thoughts. But I will say AMPX was a huge winner today, huge winner this year, and I did end up selling all of it, right?
Really?
Yeah, I did it. Well, my retirement account, I kept it, but I mean in the trade account. In the trade account, I am all out now. So that's been wow. 2026. If it wasn't for AMPX, I don't know where I'd be right now this year. Got almost $100,000 in gains in a trade account on AMPX just in 2026. So this became our top number one pick of the day with the 1450. Right, 1450 was the target. We have 1486. Pulling back here to 1370 support, maybe a 1380 support. So number one pick of the day work Redwire, which used to be the number one pick, but thank God we had news on AMPX, which supplanted that because then Redwire would have been a loser. We kept Redwire in the top 5, but it failed really. But wow, crazy day. All right, I'm just gonna keep rambling a little bit until we get more of an audience, and then we'll have more of those formal thoughts. I gave OPTX out as a swing play yesterday, but I already sold it because I mean the market was doing really bad, and I was up on it, so I made a few $1,000 on it. But it keeps on going, man. It keeps on going. An account. I don't think. No, I don't think I did that. So, so I actually have no position now on this company that apparently has some ties with Anduril that is maybe just being found out about. Wow, Novo Nordisk. I gave that 51 target after the halt, but I didn't play it. Wow, everything. My biggest loss of the day was Fubo. I should have given more deference to the reverse split. I just saw the top and bottom line beat. I saw the stock's been beaten down, and I decided to get into that. Wow, why is my account still going down? I don't get it. Oh, it's because of it must be like Burna's down 5%. What else? What is causing this drop? Because I sold a lot of stuff here.
I mean, the QQQs just keep going to low a day, so I mean, everything's
it's Burna and Intel. I sold most of the Intel. What's that?
You holding any silver right now or no?
No, I'm not. I have a little bit of gold exposure. Is it going up or down right now?
I think it's going down.
I have a little bit of gold exposure through that miner, that microcap miner still. PZG over here, but wow, I can't believe Burna has continued to go down 5%. Earnings Thursday morning. Wow, this is very surprising to me. Right on the 200-week moving average, right on it. 1294. Low day 1291. I'm just gonna hold my nose on this one, hold my breath. I added more today on it, actually. I added more Burna today. But and full disclosure, I've added what I could on SNES Tech. Fidelity not making it easy, but um, I have no idea what's going to be said on the interview. I have no inside information, nothing. We're interviewing Tom Chesterman, CFO of SNES Tech, so I bought some ahead of the interview in case we hear good things. I mean, we had really good news yesterday. We're going to be talking about the CEO resigning. That's this volume candle here, right? People upset the CEO resigning there on January 29th. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about yesterday's order. I got some interesting questions for him, which could help the stock if he has the right answers. So we'll see. I've been piling into USO, and it hasn't quite worked yet. I mean, I was in it yesterday before this pop on the Iran drone news, but then I added more on the pop, and I added more on the pullback. But let's see what my position size is on oil. I have a 10% common position and only a 1% call position. I could go higher on that. Nah, I think I'm gonna stay with 1% because some of these expire tomorrow. Tomorrow and Friday. Yeah. So wow. Tough day. Look at this turnaround in Redwire. Currently not in it. Turned the gain into a loss today on this one. Or actually maybe close to break even. Let me check how I did on Redwire today. And Redwire and AMPX are my two big winners of the year so far. Yeah, I turned it into a loss. Lost a few $100 on Redwire today, unfortunately. What time we got? All right, it's 1:37. All right, let's try to go through things just a little bit more formally now. Man, this OPTX, this is crazy. I mean, I made money on it, but wow, 18% on a day like today. Wow. Market cap close to $300 million. But all right, let's look at quickly, go back to these indices. So Bitcoin, 74,000 test.
The Qs are below the key moving averages.
Qs are below the 50. SPY getting to the 50. IW. We have I gotta say, man, I don't know. How much of this do you attribute to Iran risk, Brett?
I think it's pretty high. I mean, people have been speculating it for a while. I mean, I know we have, and I think you're starting to see some of that start to come to life, especially after today with the drones, the boats, and all that other
This
stuff.
happened.
Yeah.
Happened with the indices at 12.13. Yep, that is when it fell off. 12.13. That's exactly when the shit hit the fan. So it's interesting to me. All this money is betting on trouble with Iran, but like not a penny flung into poly market. Very weird. I think everyone who bet on poly market lost all their money already a few weeks ago.
That could be true because I mean that looked like a bunch of degenerate gamblers there.
There was so much money betting on them going in a few weeks ago, and yeah, it didn't work out. So this is where the real money is, oil. So let's see. Hopefully this oil will help to stabilize my account. I don't have a hedge. I guess my hedge is oil.
I don't think that's a bad hedge to have. Tell you what.
Yeah, you know what? But it's like I also have these drone stocks, thinking that drone stocks will go up on military action, just like it did after Maduro. But they're also kind of not behaving right now. Let me pull them up here. I'm not in UMEC. Which one am I in? I'm in ONDS and RCAT and AVAV, and they've also taken a hit since that news. Was it 12.13 or 1.13? It's 12.13 when it came out, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
So AVAV is down $4. RCAT is held up a little bit better. There are some RCAT news, but that's also down. ONDS is down. So, but these, if you recall, oh wow, I lost money on Fuse today. Sold at a bad price there, but I lost a lot of money on Intel today too. Right? Did he sell those or he kept the Intel?
I'm still holding Intel, so we'll see what happens there. I think if the market turns around, we could see Intel spike to new highs there, but I wouldn't
I
put
mean,
them
I
over
kept
bump
some in,
rates, but it's not looking like that.
I kept some Intel, but shifting into capital preservation mode. So just want to protect my capital, so I sold most of it. Wowzers! I get, hopefully this USO is going to be my savior here. I don't know if I have enough though to really be too meaningful. I have 10% common share position. I have $77 calls for tomorrow, which I bought at 66 cents, and I'm down on that, so that's not even helping. I have from before today $75 calls, which I don't know, it barely moved. The spread is 75 cents. I guess I'm up at the midpoint, but that's a terrible spread. Jeez. That's $75 calls for Friday with USO up over $1. So, and then I have from a while back $80 calls expiring tomorrow, which are basically worthless right now. Who knows? Maybe they'll pay tomorrow. $80 lottos. But no, I got those a while back at close to $2. So those are pretty much worthless. But yeah, that's kind of where my head's at, is oil and defense stocks. Let's take a look at Lockheed Martin. Wow, even Lockheed's not working. I'm not in it, but wow, that's tough. But if you remember, this entire sector, this entire watch list, defense and drones, after the Maduro operation, I mean, they were up. Pretty much everything was up between 5 and 15%.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was a big move.
Remember that?
Yeah, I do. Then we have a question here. Someone saying thanks for the SNES Tech interview. They're asking about Bull and our thoughts on
Oh,
it.
yeah, I will say, can you just tag everyone in the Discord? I forgot who it was. Someone wanted to compile a list of questions for SNES Tech.
They're already in here.
Where are they? Where are the questions?
The VFE Trading Lounge.
Oh, they're here.
You see it?
Yeah. Okay. It was
All right. Well, you do that. I'll answer this question. If you look at the charts, I think it's just the sector and theme. I mean, if you look at Webull, I mean, if you Hood is the same thing. They're all getting dragged down, and part of it is due to Bitcoin. Bitcoin is dragging these names down, like Robinhood and Webull, as you see here at the moment. So until things start to turn around for Hood, I don't think they'll be turning around for Webull.
Yeah, I think it's a sector move with Hood and crypto for sure. That's what's going on Webull. Unfortunately, that's been the worst prediction of the year for me so far.
Biggest loss there was Webull for me so far.
So yeah, look, I've made a big bet in Berna here. It's down 6% today. I'm just sticking with this, man. I'm holding my breath. What is the support level here? 1310. Wow, it's even below 1310. I got to move to a weekly. The weekly is right at that 200-week support. So look, maybe this will pay big dividends this week. Maybe it won't. All right. And I've done it with size. Berna has earnings Thursday morning, and I think it's way oversold. They already pre-announced their revenue. That's not a surprise. It's down because their pre-announced revenue, although it beat by a smaller margin than it usually beats by. So you have growth investors leaving, saying, "Hey, you're no longer a high top-line growth company." That's what this is about. They pre-announced their revenue here. It looks like on October 10th. I think that's when no, that's a weekly chart. Sorry, it was probably when did they pre-announce it? December 8th. Let's be accurate here. This is, by the way, Burn is one of my biggest winners of 2025. So far I've played it like a fiddle. Okay, they pre-announced on December 8th. Yeah, this candle right here. So you see it was trading at 1967 before the news, popped up to 2069, and has just gotten slaughtered since then with no news. So this is excessive to me, and you can see we're oversold on the daily. We're at the 200-week on the weekly. We know what the revenue is going to be, And I think what you're seeing is a rotation. You're going to see a rotation. The people leaving are growth investors, disappointed that they didn't beat revenue by a bigger margin. But this has been beaten down so bad, it's entering value territory with still decent growth. So I think this is an awesome risk reward, and it could fly dollars on Thursday if they beat the EPS by a nice margin, which they possibly could, because they launched that compact launcher that has better margin. So potential for 20, 30, 40% move by the end of the week in Berna. It's not out of the question. I made a big bet here. It might fail. All right. So it's all about risk management, proper allocations and diversification. But this is a big play I'm in right now. That's Berna. So yeah, SNES Tech interview. Full disclosure, did I say that? I did buy some before this interview here. I had good news yesterday. Let's just review what that news was yesterday, which we'll be talking about. SNES Tech approved in New Zealand. The company has shipped its initial stocking order, and then we expect to maintain a regular shipping schedule with Evicom, I guess the distributor in New Zealand. So that was the news that caused the pop. We'll be talking about that. Whew. Wow, this is a tough day. Turning a green day in the morning. Even with my mistake on Fubo, I was green this morning because of the win in AMPX and a few others. So
you know which one caught me off sides today was MU.
You know what? I may have ended up making money on MU today. Let me see. I was scalping it. No, I lost $77 on it. Oh, break even. I started off red, but then I traded a few times intraday and I made some of that back. Made most of it back. But yeah, I don't know. Those are some tough candles up there. Starting to look a little bit toppy.
Yeah, short term, definitely.
That RSI needs to cool off.
Looks like it may go back down and retest the 20 DMA on the daily at 378 or around that area. I tell you which ones people have to be careful for is MicroStrategy and BM&R. With these losses, these companies are starting to see unrealized in crypto. It's a little concerning to me.
There you go, below 74,000, and if you look at this right here, even below that 73,800, which is previous resistance, supposed to now be support. So it's going through that 73,800 support right now, which means the next thing on the table is this, which was the previous resistance before that was 69,000. So I think Bitcoin's headed to 69,000, and it's not. Maybe here there's some support at 67,000. So somewhere in that 67 to 69,000 range. Maybe psychological support at 70,000, 67 to 70. I think that's where it's headed next. So another $3,000 plus drop, I believe, in Bitcoin. RSI is starting to get oversold on the weekly, and then I don't know what happens if it gets a 200-week moving. I have no position and I have no desire of trying to buy the dip here, to be honest with you. Just watching it, giving you the levels. Very interesting. I mean, everyone kind of left and went to gold and silver, right?
Yeah, but then that also imploded too, those couple of days.
Oh.
Stuff shouldn't be swinging this big. When stuff swings this big, stuff starts to break.
That's what I warned last Thursday. When I went to yellow alert, I guess I should have stayed yellow alert. I've been on yellow alert for a few days, and then this morning I went back to green alert, green signal. I call it not green alert, but I went back to green signal because the indices reclaimed the 20 DMA. This is a tough market.
Yeah.
Indices reclaimed the 20 DMA. But initially, I went to that. Wow, look at this terrible candle today, bearish engulfing. Initially, I went to that yellow alert because of the parabolic moves in gold and silver. I mean, I timed it perfectly to be like, hey, this is probably the top, and this is scary for markets. And I said, this is when things break, when you see these crazy, unprecedented parabolic moves like we saw in precious metals. That was a sign of volatility to come for the market. It came. We got a reprieve yesterday, and I thought we made it through, and apparently we didn't. But I think now I think this is more about Iran than anything else, and just looking at how the oil charts correlated with the indices here since that move at 12:13 p.m. So yeah, I went to capital preservation mode, sold off a bunch of things, and added more oil. But man, I'm getting my ass handed to me right now in Berna. I have a pretty big position. So far, this play is not working out, guys. Not working out so far.
Which one took me, like what you got with Berna was GME got me pretty well also.
I took a loss on G. I swung that into today. I had a couple like nice intraday wins the last couple days, but this time I said, you know what, I'm going to swing it this time. I swung it into today, and I was so distracted with everything else, I just didn't really notice it was until like an hour ago. I'm like, shit, man, this is down too much. What's that?
No, I was gonna say, and then something else to notice today, which somewhat held my long-term portfolio up today, which my largest holding is ASTS.
Yeah, in fact,
strength in the market.
Me too. I got ASTS, but you know what's crazy? My long-term portfolio is flat today. And it's because of ASTS and AMPX, AGX, Carbon, Uranium. I have a bunch of things working in my long-term account. Believe it or not, I am flat today. Only things that are really working against me hard are Micron, Robinhood, AMD, but the wins are offsetting the losses. So I'm doing pretty good in the long-term account today. It's outperforming my trade account right now.
Oh yeah, mine is significantly outperforming my trade account today.
Yeah, which is rare for me. My trade account usually beats my long-term account. If I didn't make that mistake pre-market in Fubo, who knows? I might still be green. That was a big loss I took.
Another one people should watch too. We were talking about this in the community. I think it was Izzy I was talking with. I was watching SoFi. I mean, this thing got beat up again after earnings. It tends to sell off. Broke below the 200-day moving average. Long-term pickups. I mean, this dips even more back in the teens, like 17 to 18.
Oh, below the 200, man. Wow.
Yeah, great pickup. But right here, I don't know. Chart looks ugly.
Yeah, I'm not a SoFi trader or investor. I don't know. I generally avoid banking. I don't really do banking stocks or financial stocks. So I don't really have an opinion on it. But yeah, it's at a key level here. Well, intraday it's below it.
So it's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Intel just got even uglier. New low a day.
You kept it the whole time? You didn't?
Let's see. I am down 51% on the calls.
Oh, PayPal down 20%. Someone saying, yeah, I saw that earnings miss this morning was pretty massive.
Nancy Pelosi sold that as well.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, she sold it a little while ago, I believe. She got lucky once again.
Very lucky girl.
Yeah.
Wow. PayPal. That's sad to see
this
such
thing has been a bloodbath.
I hate it. It's very sad when you see these large market cap companies go down. I don't like to see that. I mean, I don't have it at all, but that's pretty sad. I didn't even look into it. I don't know. All I know is the prior earnings, and a month after the prior earnings, the CFO was pointing towards weakness, and he was saying it's consumer weakness, in terms of their volumes or whatever. Consumer weakness. They're probably losing market share to someone. I don't even know. I'm totally guessing, but looking at this performance, I'm guessing those early signs of weakness was actually market share loss. Definitely. And a lot of you watching this might know the true answer and saying, Ben, what the hell are you talking about? You don't know anything. And that might be true because I didn't listen to the conference call, but or read any articles on the earnings. But superficially, it looks like that might be something. So let's see here. I really need like oil to spike 4 or 5% to be a a good hedge, a war hedge, if that's what's taking the market down. So these defense stocks not really going up either too much. I mean, Lockheed Martin popped a little bit. I don't know. I really don't know. I know the timing matched the Iran news and the oil spike, but you would think you'd see more of a, if that was the case, if that's what this is about, you'd think you would see more of a bid in defense companies, and we're not really seeing that. So I'm just holding out hope that if there is action later this week, that the drone stocks, defense tech stocks, will do well on that. By the way, Generac was up big this morning. Is it still? No, it gave it all back. Maybe some residual impact from the ice storm. I don't know, but it's at this point it's just chop. The trade didn't work out for us. So we got 5 minutes left. A little bit of a pop in those names right now, which is doing its own thing here, not related to the indices. So that's always good to see. Yeah, I'm currently in ONDS, Arcad, and AVAV. We've got 3 minutes left. If you can retweet this stream, that'd be great. Get a audience here for the SNES Tech CFO interview. And again, we'll be staying on till the other side. Are we doing another raffle or cash giveaway?
Hold on 1 second. I don't know why, but somehow the link, he can't pull up the link, so I'm not going to resend it.
Well,
all right. No, but I mean, if you want to, we can.
I'll leave that decision up to you. So, but hang on, we might have a surprise on the other side. Between we'll be here 1:30, 1:30. Yeah, between 1:30 and 2. No, 2. 1:30, 2 to 2:30, 2:30 to 3. Yeah, between 2:30 to 3, we'll be resuming our live trading. We might do a cash giveaway, so you want to stay through the entire interview and be with us on the other side for that. Wow. See, Axon was also a big loss for me this morning. I tried this. I had to sell it. It didn't work. Axon's been murdered. Oh my gosh, unbelievable.
Awesome. We have Tom in the background now. Amazing. Sweet. We have 1 minute left. Let me go ahead and get this banner changed so we can get right up into it.
Yeah, and just put a note on that banner that that live trading will resume after the interview.
Oh no, don't want to put it like that. Scroll.
The Qs are continuing to get destroyed over here. Wow, well below the 50 DMA now. Wow. It's usually a good spot, but see, I had warned about this on Friday, was it? I said that. Give me 1 second before. Hold on, let me just make this final thought. On Friday, it said that it looks like the Qs are set to gap open below the 50 DMA on Monday, but I thought that would come together with Iran news, and then I said, and that's where you want to buy. And typically, look, if you look at the chart, bought every single time. But I'd love this to be paired with a negative catalyst. If it's happening on its own, it scares me a little bit. right? You want to buy these support levels on a negative catalyst for that turnaround to happen. So I'm not quite so confident about this. I'm not sure. But anyway, all right, let's hit that countdown. Good afternoon. We're here with CFO of SNES Tech, Tom Chesterman. How you doing, Tom?
Good afternoon.
All right. You are here on a very volatile day in the stock market. Things are going a little... Oh, you don't hear me? Tom doesn't hear me? Hello? Tom? Tom? I hear you. I do hear you, Tom. Do you hear me?
Great. I'm not hearing you for some reason.
Okay. Tom's got to fix his audio. Right, if you can give him a phone call or something, help him get that audio working.
There we go.
There, now he hears me?
No.
Okay. All right.
Good morning.
All right.
Good afternoon.
Tom. Good afternoon, Tom. I hear my feedback. I hear my voice. Are you on speaker or something?
I'm on the speaker, on the display speaker, yes.
Hold on, let me see what I can do. Right, is there something I can do to... No, you don't. Okay. Rhett, do you also hear me echoing?
No, I do not.
Tom, you don't hear me echoing. Rhett, do you hear me echoing?
Yes, I do hear you guys echoing. Hold on one sec. I'm trying to...
Let's see if there's something we can do about that.
Tom, do you have any other ways to display the sound on your end?
Like a headset or AirPod or something like that?
I think we're losing them.
Does he hear us? Hello.
Hello, I'm still here.
You're still here. Okay. Is there a headset you can use or an AirPod or something? Because
I was trying to use the AirPods, they weren't working. But
let's try that one more time. Okay, let's try. I hear you. No.
You hear me now?
I hear you. The problem is I hear myself echoing because I think we're catching the audio of me from your system coming back into our system. Sorry for the delay, guys, but if we can figure this out, it'll be a lot more comfortable for everybody. Don't hear you, Tom.
So how about now?
Okay, I hear you. Oh, that's better. Do you hear me?
Okay. Yes, I hear you. So
yeah. All right.
So we've got to have one on AirPods and the other one on microphone. Who knows? All
Beautiful.
right. Well.
All right. It's working great now. All right. So welcome back, Tom Chesterman, CFO of SNES Tech, ticker symbol SNES. It's been a while since we spoke to you or the CEO. Joel Fruent. So in any case, there's been a lot of news here in the last week or so, and there's a lot of interest in this. We got a nice audience here. If you actually look at the chart, you'll see some high volume on January 29th when it was announced that Joel Fruent is resigning. So actually want to start there. There is some good news. There was good news yesterday that we'll be talking about. But if you can start with what you can tell us about Joel resigning. Obviously, a lot of people invest in management, and they've been listening to Joel for quarters here with us. So what can you tell us about his choice to resign at this time?
Well, he's actually not resigning at this time. He announced his retirement, and so he's going to stay on to make sure that there's a good transition for, say, call 6 months or so, whenever a new CEO is on board. So he hasn't gone away. He's approaching that age where some people decide they want to retire, and he felt he had done what he needed to do here to really launch us, which he did. I can't say enough about the changes, the positive changes he brought to the company. So it was simply a decision on his part to decide to slow down a little bit and play golf or whatever it more often than dealing with the day to day. So in the transition, on the day to day basis, Michael Adele, who's our interim chief operating officer, who we brought on board a couple of months ago, and myself, will take care of the day to day as he starts his transition.
Okay, got it. So is he staying like he's not going to do the day to day for now, or is it like waiting for the new CEO to come before he leaves, or how's that?
No, he'll step back from the day to day, and he'll still be available to us for any strategic transition issues or any issues. He had a number of projects he was working on as well, and so we want to make sure that we don't lose those things he was personally involved in. Some of the bigger pitches, and we've talked about that before, and he's talked about that on this show. That we've laid the groundwork for a lot of very, very big opportunities in a variety of sectors. And we want to make sure that we still have access to his knowledge and his expertise within that area.
Okay, got it. And just remind us, like, how long has he been with the company?
He's been here, 4 years, I think it is?
4 years.
So, yeah.
Okay.
I think it's 4 years.
And in terms of the search for a new CEO, is that something the board's just going to do on their own, or do you or the interim CEO have any role in that to play?
Well, I mean, the way it's worked in the past, and we've done this a couple of times in the company's history, is that the board launches the search with a search firm, usually a retained executive search firm, and they will continue to, vet the candidates. The search firm narrows them down, and at some point, we will be probably interviewing or just talking with a couple of the finalists. They usually want to talk to us, and we want to talk to them. So. It'll be kind of a joint effort, or it has been in the past.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, great. So let's get to, actually, before I know like everyone's excited about yesterday's news, but even before that, one of the most important questions, especially now in light of this Joel retiring, we've talked about this before, but when it comes to microcap companies, the fear always is about cash and the ability to get to profitability without needing capital. Or if you can get capital on great terms, great. But, the problem always is with microcap companies that you're dealing with these sharks out there who'd like to take advantage of small companies. And you got to, if you have to raise money, you got to do it with warrants, et cetera, et cetera. So that's always like the default fear position of microcap investors, right? So if there's like any red flags, or it's like, oh, wow, the CEO's leaving now, what does that mean? Like what things are falling apart, and then they have to raise money and sell all these warrants, et cetera, et cetera. Let's tackle that first, because again, that's always the biggest worry. So what can you tell us about the company's current cash position and the cash burn and your runway?
Yeah. So I can't talk about where our current cash position is because we haven't announced the annual earnings, but we put forth at the early part of last year a very aggressive financing campaign. We brought in a lot of cash. We wanted to make sure that we had enough to bridge us so that we could execute all of our strategic initiatives. That's not changed. And, the cash burn has not changed. We're still running, at approximately, call it, $1 million a month, or, $1 million and a half a quarter. So that hasn't changed, and we still have, I will say, well over a year's worth of cash, and that's we continue to make sure that we spend as prudently as we can. But and I'll tell you, the worry about having to do a shark-based financing is not just an investor fear. I fear that too. I don't want to be doing that anymore. We did it. We took the hit, and hopefully we now have the ability to move ourselves both to more positive cash flow, but also to kind of a higher quality of capital market access eventually, not in the short term.
And has there been any need or use to tap into the ATM recently?
We haven't needed to. It's, we're still kind of looking at things. We didn't want to before the end of the year because there's, the stock took a number of hits. We really want to, execute on a few more initiatives and bring in some of those bigger contracts so that people can see where we're moving and that we're making the success, which would presumably be reflected as well in the stock price. And so if I could raise money at, $5 again, we might access the ATM. But we don't want to stop. We don't want to at all stop the positive movement of the stock price when we get some news. And overuse of an ATM can do that.
Okay. All right, great. Let's talk about yesterday's news. In fact, let me see if I can share the here press release so people can see it for themselves. Let's see here. There we go. All right, so this just came out yesterday. Yep. SNES Tech Evolve approved in New Zealand. It talks about an initial stocking order fulfilled, and then this I'd like to see. We expect to maintain a regular shipping schedule with Evicom. So, what's this mean for you in terms of revenue? If you can quantify it for us, or if you can't quantify it, just give us some hints.
Well, I'll give you some hints. I mean, a container, so a pallet is about $10,000, round numbers. A little bit more for international pallets because we stack them a little bit higher. A container is packed with somewhere between 5 and 10 different pallets. So that tells you that. They haven't yet set up their schedule, but part of that is that they're still trying to make sure they understand and are integrated into the Predator-Free 2050 initiative. That's New Zealand's overarching initiative to remove and eradicate invasive predator species like rats. So they are working right now with the New Zealand authorities to establish a cadence as to exactly how Evolve can be integrated into that. Previously, they had to rely on poisons alone, and they would have to carpet bomb in certain areas every few years. They're hoping to convince, with the data we've provided, the authorities that there's a better, more sustainable way of dealing with that, and so that's what they're pitching right now with that initial stocking order.
Yeah, and just for clarification, it did say on the press release we've shipped a container, so a container contains 5 to 10 pallets, but it said again, expect to maintain a regular shipping schedule. What I'm not sure I caught that in what you were talking about there. So what does that mean? What's your expectation in terms of a regular shipping schedule?
We haven't yet gotten an expectation from them for what that schedule is. That's where we are expecting them to say, okay, we want a container a month, or whatever it is that they're going to be doing, and that has to wait until they get the cadence from the New Zealand authorities.
But this product is, when you ship it to has it been shipped already?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this product, it's for immediate use. Like everything's been approved there, and it's going to go out for immediate use. Okay. So then the cadence from here on, would that be dependent on? They've already been doing trials, or no? Do they have any data?
They've done all the data. They've got all the data they need.
Okay. So
we've given our data, which is largely what they've relied on. They haven't needed to do any field trials there.
Okay. So then that cadence, I mean, is it dependent on how this, the full deployment works out? Waiting for, or it's just waiting for government approval, or what?
It's waiting for the deployment. The deployment plans need to be finalized with the New Zealand authorities.
I got it. Okay, deployment plan needs to be finalized with New Zealand authorities. That's great. And then, based on how can you if what's the range of possibilities? Right, that deployment plan. Like, what are you expecting if that deployment plan is approved? What could this mean for the company in terms of revenue per year?
I mean, it really depends on whether they go with a slow and steady deployment plan, or they want to go with a widespread plan. If they do just a slow, steady, it could be a container a quarter. That would be a rational estimate out the gate. but they also could say, okay, well, we need a couple thousand pounds right now because we're going to cover the whole northwest sector. But I suspect it's going to be more steady than that. It's likely to be a per quarter basis.
Okay. All right, fair enough. Sounds good. So that's on yesterday's news, New Zealand. Now, we do have a bunch of questions from our Discord we'll get to at the end, but I might cover some of them before we get to that. So just have some patience with me. So, you mentioned some of these larger, orders that you're hoping to get earlier in our conversation. What is the biggest potential order that's waiting in the wings? Is it New York City or is it something else?
I was waiting for you to mention New York City. I knew you were going to get there. So New York City
see the rats,
I know. I know, but let me start with New York City. So their trial continues on until May 4th. And it's from everything we've heard and seen, consumption is still extremely good, which is their endpoint. I mean, they designed their experiment with the help of probably the premier rat expert in the nation, Bobby Corrigan. And he said, I know it works. So if they're consuming it, then it's a success. So that's the endpoint for the study. And the study, we know they're consuming it. Last we heard it was a 100% consumption. So we should expect that when the study is concluded, that's when they're presumably going to entertain bids. Now, we have the opportunity to work with a number of very, very large pest control companies who can handle that kind of volume. And so, that would be what we are preparing this quarter, so that we're able to move quickly once they have ended that. So, more news on that in the future. But I can say that could be a very large order. However, I would say that there are even larger orders that are out there. We've talked about the retail space, the big box space. Mm-hmm. We've started on the process with Home Depot and Lowe's. We're on both of their websites, which is the first step. Now the next step is to go into what they call line review, and they only hold those periodically. But at the line review, that's when we can pitch, okay, so we would like to propose 50 stores or 100 stores or however many we think that they're going to have. So those pitches will also be occurring this year. And I can't give you the cadence specifically on each one, but those pitches will occur. Tractor Supply is another one. They're obviously a bit smaller, but a Home Depot or a Lowe's in-store could be in the millions. No question about that on a per annum basis.
Millions per annum. Okay.
Yeah. We've done as we've talked about before, we've had a number of initiatives in the agriculture area. And some of those, if they're treating, 1 million acres of agricultural space, that's a very, very large order as well. And that's going to be spaced over their season, whatever their season is. So that's a huge one too. Could be as large or could be larger. And then the final area is that we've had a lot of preparation work, which we haven't really been able to talk about, but directly with large, let me call it land managers, people that have property management firms that have lots and lots of campuses, lots and lots of sites. And those discussions go with them directly. And sometimes by ourselves, just pointing out this is what it does, sometimes in concert with some of the larger pest control companies. So those are also things that could be very large ticket items if and when they hit. Mm-hmm. So it isn't any one. It's a lot of different. As I know Joel has mentioned, as he says, we have lots of shots on goal, and they're big goals.
What about the other municipalities? I mean, there's several cities that you announced that have gone to full deployment. And Baltimore, I think maybe one of them, or Chicago, San Francisco, different neighborhoods. Maybe I have some of them wrong, but those full deployment ones, have they not translated into big regular revenue yet?
They are translating. Let me put it in the present tense. And it's different each one. Baltimore is with a pest management firm that got the contract. Chicago is with the individual special service areas, the SSAs. And we announced previously that Wicker Park was the first one. Old Town came on board. Both of them are expanding their deployments to now also include sales to individual citizens. The other SSAs are also looking at it. So they're all putting together their proposals and their budgets for potential deployment as well. So it's a little bit different in Chicago, where we're expecting to see that expansion. Although, at some point, the city of Chicago is going to wake up and say, I guess we missed the boat on that one. We better figure it out. So, we stand ready to work with Chicago. They, as I think came out in the press, they no longer are the number one on the rattiest cities list. They're number 2. So hopefully, with our help, they can go further and further down that list. There are other areas. Los Angeles County, Los Angeles took their spot at number 1, so we certainly are putting a lot of our efforts there. The other area we haven't talked about in a while are zoos and sanctuaries. They have always been, very, very ardent supporters of our approach to pest management, and I expect to see the continued progress in that in the current year.
Okay, so with the progress you're seeing with the municipalities, have we seen progression towards break even on the cash flow? Because you had mentioned that we're still at about $1.5 million loss per quarter. I don't know, is that through Q3 or any direction?
I can only talk through Q3. We haven't released Q4 numbers yet.
Okay, so then without quantifying it, are things moving in the right direction? You think, we're looking at improvements going forward?
I have to be really, really careful about giving any guidance as to what fourth quarter was. We really have to wait until that. But I will say, from a business level, yes, we continue to make progress. From a financial level, I can't comment on that.
Right, I got it. Okay. Okay. So how about so we covered all these bigger areas in terms of the direct-to-consumer sales on the different websites and stuff. Any color you can give in terms of how that's been going?
It's been going well. The Amazon and our own website, they continue to grow well. There was a bit of a seasonal dip in December, which we expected. Those are people start thinking about Christmas presents, not as much about pest control. But we continue to see strong growth there. The market is good. We're not seeing huge growth in the third party areas, because they have their own cadence. Where we put our money into is into our direct consumer markets, our website, etc. We are planning yet another upgrade of that website. It needs to be refreshed. I don't know if we've talked about this, but when we first started our website, we started before we were going direct to consumers. And we started as a kind of a benefit to the smaller pest management firms, and we started to see all sorts of consumers. And so we just do-it-yourselfers. So we very quickly adapted the website to be a little more friendly to consumers. Now what we need to do is we kind of need to refresh the whole darn thing and just come up with something that is truly DTC focused. And I think that we can see much stronger growth there. But Amazon is still the play, and Amazon is, I guess they call themselves the biggest grocery store in the world, or the biggest marketplace in the world. I'm not sure what exactly that is, but we definitely are focused there.
So that website you were talking about, you're saying that was recently? You recently redid that, or you're in the process of doing that?
We're in the process right now of coming up with it.
Yeah,
it's an okay web. I like the website, but I don't think it's as we looked at it. And I'll give you an example on the packaging right there. That packaging is not really consumer friendly. It doesn't jump out at you exactly what it does. Mm-hmm. And this is going to be the true also when we start marketing this to to Home Depot and Lowe's and the others. We need to come up with some truly consumer-friendly packaging, which hopefully we'll be able to announce that very soon. I know they're just putting the finishing touches on it, and it looks really good.
Cool. Oh, wow. So I actually bought the Evolved Mouse from Amazon, and I don't know if Rhett, you can find that image that I shared with you, but the mice liked it so much that they found the bag that we had stored under the sink and chewed right through the plastic, chewed right through it to get to the food. Even though it was previously open, the top was sealed though. So I guess they can smell it through, some openings in the top. The top was sealed, but they chewed right through it to get to the product. So they certainly are attracted to what it smells like. We know that, or what it tastes like.
And we know it works. I mean, there's lots of anecdotal evidence. We have somebody right here in town who had a huge mouse problem, and they were using traps, and they were getting 10, 12 every time they were emptying traps, and mouse. And then the next thing you knew, they were getting 6, then 5, and then after a few months, they were getting like 1 capture every time they were visiting. So it works. But they love that stuff. Yeah.
All right. Let me get to some of these questions. Red, if you'd like, you can always jump in if you have any questions. So in our Discord, we have a question here. You've been working with one of the biggest sugar producers and poultry houses in the United States. Can we get any visibility into that in terms of what's going on from the test phase towards an official program?
I didn't hear the first part of that question. The poultry houses?
You've been working with one of the biggest sugar producers and poultry houses in the United States.
Yeah, so the sugar producers, yes, those crops unfortunately don't grow as fast as we would like. But we're in the second phase with them to look at not just consumption, but they also want to look at, is there less damage to the plants, which is one of their biggest issues, which they really see as their endpoint. That study is not yet completed. It should be completed. Their growing season, I think, ends pretty soon for this crop cycle. On the poultry house, that's no longer a study. They're now the pest management firm that supplies that and other poultry houses has just signed with us an expanded deal, so they have exclusive access to the ContraPest product as well as a non-exclusive access to Evolve. But the ContraPest product is that they like is Elevate, which really attacks the above ground rat infestations that are common in the poultry houses. And so they're finding that the Elevate product really works for them quite well. They're expanding to within that their existing customers, but now they're marketing to other poultry houses in their area.
Okay, great. We'll go through these. We covered a lot of these questions. Something has what is this about Australia? Okay, you just mentioned you got approval for New Zealand. Has Australia approved? If so, do you have a timeline? What does the approval look like in terms of an order, and when do you expect to ship? I think so. They're asking about Australia.
Yep, and I'm glad they brought that up. Australia is reviewing it. They're on a little bit slower timeline. We are expecting a decision based on what they've said sometime in the first half of the year. It could be a much larger order depending on whether they're going after, in Australia, they've got more of an agricultural approach to it. And so, it could be, as a market, it's much bigger than New Zealand. So the potential there is much higher.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Sometime in the first half of the year is when we've been told to expect it. Everything looks very positive there, but of course, with regulations and regulators, nothing is guaranteed.
Okay, and then we have, in addition to that, you have the approval to do business in Hong Kong and Belize. What do those orders look like in terms of revenue, Hong Kong and Belize?
Yeah, we really don't like to talk specific revenue numbers about specific customers, but in Belize, there we were working with one distributor. It's now looking like they may be locking into some of the retail infrastructure in Belize. So we actually think Belize is going to grow very quickly. Hong Kong has not grown as fast as we would have liked. I think they have not been able to keep up with our expectations of what we think, and we really need to sit down with them and understand what are they doing or what aren't they doing in terms of commercialization of the product. So the potential there is huge, and we're a little bit concerned about it.
Okay. Let's see. You mentioned that you're in talks with the biggest wholesale distributor in the world about getting your product in their warehouse. Can you give us some color on where that is currently? Biggest wholesale distributor. I don't know. I'm not sure which one they're talking about, but were there any large wholesale distributers? Forget about biggest. What are the largest wholesale distributors you've been talking to?
I mean, I guess maybe they are. We do have this one distributor that stores products for their own use, but also for others. They're both kind of a distributor and storage. They continue to be a customer. They have not yet deployed in all of their locations, and frankly, I'd have to check with the sales force to see if there's any more color there.
Are you able, just to see if we're all on the same page, are you able to name that distributor that we're talking about? Okay. I do remember something, I don't know if it was about the biggest wholesaler, but there was some sort of press release, I don't know, 5-6 months ago about an important distributor. Maybe that's what they're.
Well, if it was 5-6 months ago, that was probably the one with Bradley Caldwell.
Yeah,
and they cover just a huge number of the kind of central United States hardware stores, and they continue to be a customer. They are rolling it out to their customers, which makes it a little bit slower, but they market to these individual hardware stores that are independent. There's actually a couple of other companies like them. I guess they're probably bigger than they are, but there's several of them that do this same thing, which is market to individual independent hardware stores. And so we actually have another one that we're talking with right now that hopefully we'll have an announcement on soon.
Okay. And the last thing I see here that I didn't ask about, the Ace hardware stores, that is one store that you have been in the physical stores. Has there been expansion in terms of number of stores for Ace?
Yes, there has been, and particularly in the Chicago area. It's a kind of a spillover effect. When the SSA started talking about it and there was press coverage and everything, we saw both Amazon shipments there increase and Ace hardware stores began to say, okay, well, we need to develop it too. I think with Ace, though, again, it gets back to, I'm not sure we get the right packaging for shelf space. And it's not as, I think that when we are able to launch this new packaging, it's going to be much, much easier for somebody walking down the aisle to immediately see, okay, this is what that does. So I think we need the better packaging before we can really, really attack the retail.
Interesting. Okay. And you mentioned that's coming soon. The announcement of that is coming soon. In terms of how long till that's actually on the shelf, what's your estimate on that?
It's pretty quick. Our pouches, once our pouches are designed and approved by the states, they
need to be approved by the states.
It's a new label, technically speaking, so they need to be approved by the states. We have already, finalized the design, and we've started talking to the states about them. So I don't want to take away the thunder from the announcement. But it's not a long process from here.
It's not. Okay. Even with the states, I'm surprised. I thought everything is long with the government. All right.
We started a while ago.
Okay, good.
We're not starting right now.
Cool. Sounds good. So when is going to be the next earnings date, you think? I
think it's going to be early in March, in the first half of March. I don't think we've set the date, and I can't think.
Sound about a month.
Let me see if I've got the dates up on my screen here.
This is for the fourth quarter. Last year you did it March 12th.
Well, it's probably going to be about the same time this year. We do it. It won't be significantly different. that plus or minus a few days.
Yeah. Okay. So within about a month, right? So about a month
Yeah.
from now. All right. Sounds good. Let's see. Anything else you wanted to add that I didn't cover?
I this year's going to be great. That's all I can say. That's what I want to end with. I mean,
Oh, really?
we worked really, really hard to set the groundwork for some significant progress. We had some good wins last year, but they're going to be nothing like the good wins we're going to have this year. I'm
Wow.
convinced of it.
All right. Well, speaking of that though, so when we get to the earnings in March, you have a lot of things starting to move. I mean, are you going to be able to? It would be great. Let me put it this way: it'd be great if you can give some sort of guidance on that call. Like, I don't know, like the best you could do. It's, even if it's like, hey, we expect sequential revenue growth from here, for the rest of the year. Anything would be great because that is something that separates. I would say like a micro cap company to going to the next level. A lot of most micro cap companies do not give guidance. The ones that are in a position to do, I tend to see they really get rewarded in the market. So just a thought for you. If you guys are able
I will take that thought. Joel preferred to have you kind of, squeeze it out of him.
All right.
We'll definitely take a look at that.
Appreciate awesome.
the idea.
All right. We'll be looking forward to that earnings release and the conference call. Thank you so much, Tom. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Ben.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. And hang on with us, the rest of you here. We're going to continue with our live trade. Oops. All right. Oops. What's going on? We are... Here we go. Sorry, I didn't know, Rhett, that you were going to hit that outro music. I forgot about that. About that.
It's all good.
You can always put it in the edit. So that was interesting.
There's a lot of great insights. There's a lot of moving parts to that people don't realize. I mean, it's not just individual use. I mean, or with farms. I mean, as you see, what you guys didn't really go too much in depth either is the he was trying to. I think he was trying to go more in depth as well is the zoos and all that because I think it was the Belize Raptor Center. They've been posting here and there, and they love the product, and they keep promoting it. Like they even have their own booth of SNES Tech that they promote at local events. So that's how much these people are loving the product.
So look, I'm fully transparent here. Yes, that's there's paid sponsor, and these interviews are paid for. But at the same time, I like the story, and I've been transparent. I've actually held a position in my long-term account continuously here over the last several quarters, a little bit of trading around the core. So I personally, just looking at this chart, and given the fact that there's been no recent dilution, that's always a concern when you look at these microcap charts, but they probably haven't done any dilution in a couple quarters. So this is kind of like you can rely on this chart in terms of support because, when you have a lot of dilution, you can't really rely on the chart too much. Because a dollar, you'd have to go to an enterprise value chart to get a better picture. But because there hasn't been recent dilution, you can actually look at the price here, and they can be reliable. So I actually think we're at a pretty good level here. The daily being oversold, and we're way back to levels here we haven't seen since April 2025, almost a year ago. So up to you guys what you do here. I do have a position long term. I also added a shorter term position ahead of this interview. And we'll see what happens. We got a month between now and earnings. Looks like it's going to be towards the positive side, reading between the lines there, Rhett.
Yeah, definitely. Completely agree with you there, Ben.
All right. So that's SNES Tech, ticker symbol SNES. So while that was happening, a lot of volatility going on in the market, especially in those drone stocks. They all exploded all of a sudden. Got a little bit of a, directionally moving with a pop in QQQ and the indices, but the magnitude of the moves much greater, especially with UMAC had some relative strength. Someone noted in the Discord earlier, and they were right about that because UMAC, the only one to now hit a new high a day on this latest move. So yeah, I think these are interesting plays to be in. with these Iran jitters going on right now. UMAC, ONDS, RCAT, AVAV, who knows, Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, maybe even those could do well if there is further action in Iran. I am mostly playing it with USO. You can see it's finally starting to shape up here. I got a 10% common share position and a 1% call position right now in USO. Not even 1% actually. Let me go double check that over here, see where I'm at with USO. Let's see. Whoa. Oh, wait a second. I was looking at the wrong account. I was like, I'm not in Micron. All right, Micron. Yeah. I'm at. That's what I'm at. I'm at 10%, 1% exactly. 10-1. All right, on oil. So look at that. That's starting to maybe work out, right?
Yeah, I'm seeing that it is shaping up nicely, especially towards the end of the day. We started to see a little bit of a curl up in the couple charts, but started to just pull back there. So interesting to see how we close today in terms of the overall market, but it's not looking too hot.
Yeah, what do you think? Like Intel curling a little bit?
Yeah, I saw Intel, but I'm just talking about like the overall market, like with spot QQQ, we had a bounce off 610.96 all the way there to the high on that 5-minute candle of 614.36. And we pulled back a little. So it's interesting.
Yeah, it's been a unfortunate day a little bit because, like I said, a lot of people are green in the morning like me, and now we're red. But let's see if that oil can help save. Look at this. Yeah, I really think oil. I should have been maybe more aggressive because we've seen this pattern, especially anytime there's news, any kind of news with Iran. You see USO really exploding in the 2 to 4 p.m. hour. So I probably should have been a little more aggressive with that. But in any case, yeah.
Another one. I wonder if the bottom's in. I mean, this thing just keeps getting beaten up. I know we talked about it this morning with Snap. The low today.
Snap. I added Snap. So there was some news on Snap. Which country was it? Spain. Apparently following Australia's lead in terms of banning social media apps for kids under 16. That seems to be the catalyst here. Let's check Meta. Meta's down 2.5%. That could be related to that as well, or this could just be the algos and the Qs. But Snap more of a pure play social media here. Meta has. But yeah, I actually took some 650 calls next week, and we'll see. I'm very looking forward to their earnings report. They had a good earnings report last quarter. They had, out of the last several quarters, they've actually had a few good earnings reports. This one, I guess, probably disappointed. I don't remember on August 4th, but at least 2 really good earnings reports that I remember out of the last 3. And it looked like it was trying to form a bottom here until just now, right? Until, what is this? January 29th. The bottom fell out of this chart here, this daily chart. So the question is, does that mean opportunity and we snap right back to 780? Or does that mean, the beginning of a further decline? If I had to bet, I think we're going to snap back towards 780 after this earnings report. That's my bet on Snap. That could be a wow. That could really pay off on call options if we get back to 780 by the end of the next week.
Oh yeah, those calls will be up significantly.
Yeah. So that's something to look into. But for right now, it's a painful day, right? Because I'm in those. I added the Snap and they continue to go down. The Burna keeps going down.
Few members of our community added on this last dip. They re-added AMPX back. So
yeah, you know what? It was during the interview. I was seeing some of the charts out of the corner of my eye, and I was like, that is one that I probably would have played because I got all out at a good price, and it bounced right off this line. So unfortunately, I missed that re-entry op. And just look at this outperformance in UMAC, right?
Yeah, wow.
This is interesting. This one's really interesting. It's really underperformed recently, and now it's really catching up. And remember, UMAC has Donald Trump Jr. on the board. I kind of wonder. I don't know. I see this and I think, does somebody know something about Iran? I don't know. I'm so tempted. I'm tempted to chase UMAC here, Rhett. I'm really tempted. I think I might. I think I might swing it. I think I might swing this because things are really pointing to escalation in Iran, and
Yeah,
UMAC
this
was
was one
one
of
of
the ones that
those.
was up 10% after Venezuela.
Yes, UMAC was one of them that was up significantly after Venezuela. So now I have UMAC, RCAT. I just added UMAC. I have UMAC, RCAT, ONDS, and AVAV. I have these four right now as war hedges along with oil. And that's where my head's at right now, to be honest with you. I'm not so keen on other things. And of course, I have that big position in Berna into the earnings report, which I hope to be able to sell at least half of it, by the way, tomorrow afternoon at a profit. But that's going to look challenging after today. We'll have to move up like $1 at least for me to be able to take some off the table at a profit before the earnings report. But yeah, I'm staying fully in that position. I've not shaved anything off on Berna today.
And then I don't know what levels to give you down here on bull. I mean, the only thing I could really say is for bull that whatever levels you see for Bitcoin and the other, and just is going to kind of play in sympathy with.
Yeah, I'm going to repeat what I said in the Discord. I think it bears worth repeating if you want to understand my style and our style at story trading. I don't believe in buying stocks at support levels, whether it's valuation support levels or technical support levels, unless it's surrounded by our other pillars, right? Unless there's catalyst, sentiment, things like that. You asked me where the stock is going to bottom. My answer to you is not, let's look at a risk reward chart or let's see where the valuation floor is. That's not how I look at things. If you want to know when a stock is going to bottom, I'm going to tell you when is the narrative going to change. For me, directional changes in stocks are all about narrative changes, and narrative changes happen with catalysts. That's how I look at it. So I'm not a big fan of trying to find a bottom in bull and let me buy a good price or let me buy a support line or let me get at a price that I think is a good valuation. That's not how I trade stocks. At least not in a short-term account. But I would say even in my long-term trading account, I have roughly the same approach. I did re-enter Hood in my long-term account because I had a beautiful exit after holding it for several quarters, and then I was out for several quarters. So I really played Hood right. Then I bought it in my retirement account to 200 DMA, and that's failed. So I'm still holding it. But yeah, I would tell you, look, bull is going to go narrative. As long as there's momentum and it's being linked to Robinhood, that negative narrative I think is probably linked to Bitcoin, right? So when's the bottom for bull? Where's the support for bull? When Hood turns around, or when Bitcoin turns around, or when bull has an individual catalyst, individual positive catalyst for its company. That's where the bottom is for bull. That's how I look at it. So I did reduce my position both in my short and long-term account a couple days ago when I saw this really support break. It was here at 757. I'm not sure how quick I was. It was probably closer to 7 that I finally pulled the trigger a couple days ago, and I reduced by about a third. I probably should have sold all of it, to be honest with you, and get back in on a positive catalyst. But at this point, it's going to need a good earnings report or reversal in Robinhood or reversal in Bitcoin to see this thing turn around. That's my opinion on that. And you can just keep going lower and lower and lower. And that's why stocks can be, undervalued, quote unquote, undervalued for a long time, or quote unquote, overvalued for a long time, because stocks don't really trade on valuation; they trade on narrative, and narrative changes. And as long as the narrative is still with you, you keep on going up above, over valuations, above fair value. And as long as the narrative is bad, you keep on going down below fair value. So for me, it's all about those narrative changes. Oh, I wish I could have traded some of these drone stocks. That happened right during the interview, in the middle of the interview. Wow. But look at this. This is a great sign for drone stocks because they're really outperforming the market. They're directionally moving. Every time there's a pop, they're moving up, unproportionally to the upside. And when the market goes down, they're going down less than the market. So very, very bullish price action right now in the drone and defense tech sector. Let me check Northrop Grumman, RTX. Let's see. Katos had some news this morning. Where's Lockheed Martin at? Lockheed Martin is still negative. Crazy day, guys. Nvidia's down 5%. Just got that alert. Wow. Oh, that's ugly.
Nvidia's down significantly
Dude,
today.
that's an ugly daily chart. You're going back to these support levels right here.
Yep, 168.47.
170. Yeah, I call it 170. Yeah, I would call it 170 roughly. Yeah, I think I am still holding some PZG. Just got an alert from Ross here. Oh, okay, let me see if I still have some. PZG 212. Actually, my last entry was 212, but wow, it went to... Oh, not bad. You know what? Yeah, I might as well take the... I don't know. I was thinking of holding some in case gold explodes on Iran action tomorrow, but you know what? It's been a tough day. Let me raise some capital. Thank you for that alert, Ross. PZG, thank you. Just sold some here. Sold everything. Actually, sold the rest of what I had here at 212, 211. Yeah, I was trading that a little bit today. So I exited and then I got back in, Ross, and my reentry was not great at reentry 212, so I just sold that. Let's see.
And don't forget, guys, tomorrow at 3 p.m. we will be interviewing the CEO of CDZI.
What? Hold on. That's tomorrow
At 3 p.m.
3 p.m. We have an interview. Have we interviewed these guys before?
No, this will be our very first interview with them.
CDZI market cap 400 million. Whoa, it was doing well until now. So it's a water solutions provider with a combination of land, water, pipeline, water filtration assets located in Southern California. Company segments include land and water resources and water filtration technology. So interesting because it's had a nice chart. I have to hold on a second. Revenue 4 million, 3 million. What's this? Come on. What the hell? But looks like they have something going for them. Been reacting well to multiple earnings reports for a while until the bottom fell here just a few days ago, probably related to the market. So okay, so that's CDZI. I gotta find room for that in my watch list. So interviewing CDZI tomorrow. So put that on your calendar. 3 p.m. We'll do live trading from 2:30, probably right through 5 p.m. tomorrow then, because we have some nice, interesting earnings reports tomorrow. So after that interview, that's going to take us right into Google, ARM, Snap, Symbiotic, Elf. Whoa. Yeah. Tomorrow's going to be a long... That's going to be a long live stream tomorrow from 2:30.
2:30 to 5, probably, I'd say.
Yeah, probably 2:30 to 5. Get ready for that. Oh, Snap is ready tomorrow? Wow.
Yeah, Snap is tomorrow. It's the 4th.
Wow.
Yeah, today's already the 3rd.
Oh, man, I know that chart's ugly. I might buy more Snap calls tomorrow. Call me crazy.
Anticipation run.
Yeah, you may be able to sell some off tomorrow afternoon in the earnings anticipation run. Look at this AMPX. Dude, out. I'm totally out of AMPX. You know what? I'm gonna get back in. This is I have a $16 swing target on this anyway. Was able to sell at really good prices today, and this is one that can also run with the drone stocks and defense tech if there is action on Iran. I mean, can it be overnight? I wonder, Rhett. They're saying they're still meeting later this week, but you got to wonder if this drone situation, the Iranian drones,
changes things. Yeah, it could.
It was a Strait of Hormuz, a tanker that they were trying to seize, and that was the Abraham Lincoln, the drone that got too close to the Abraham Lincoln that they shot down. You got to wonder, especially with Trump. I mean, if they're not ready, they're not ready. He's not going to go in if it's not ready. But if they are ready and it's just a matter of timing, you got to wonder if that's going to put Trump over the edge and be like, let's just do it now. So that's a risk. That's a risk into tomorrow. And I think that's why oil is behaving well here. So, at this point now I'm long a whole bunch of drone and defense tech stocks into tomorrow. They are, look at AVAV. Okay, they are AVAV and ONDS, RCAT, AMPX, and UMAC, along with USO. So PZG high of day there. This is a gold miner. You know what? Maybe I should put gold because gold can also move on war. It's not really moving with the rest of that sector, though. Let's see. AVAV is looking really nice. I sold AVAV calls for a 50% profit today. 272.50 calls that I called out yesterday. So AVAV, I have a 7% position in right now into tomorrow. I got pretty big exposure right now in this sector. Look, AVAV I'm at 7%. ONDS I'm at 3.5%. So that's 10% right there. Then we got RCAT at 3%. So that's 13%. AMPX at 4%. So I got 17%. And then UMAC at 3%. So I got 20%, and then I have 10% in oil. So I got 20% in defense tech going into tomorrow, 10% in USO. And if I'll sell this afternoon or tonight if we see some big pops, I'll trade around the floor. And then of course I got that big position in Berna. Anyway, right, we got final 2 minutes here. Any thing you want to bring up?
No, that's pretty much it.
I'll look at UMAC.
Just gonna see how I'm probably. I don't think I'm gonna swing these actually, so we'll see. I may reduce half the position in my Intel, and I'm gonna look for the bottoms in MU. Looks like we have a nice support at 407. We bounced off there nicely, and we went back down here around 409. Now we're bouncing again on MU. But if we do dip lower, I think 398, and then I think it's 398. Then the 370s would be nice supports.
Yeah, as well. Obviously I like MU. It's in my retirement account. I've had a big position since the earnings report. But looking at the daily chart, I don't think this one's going to be immune to. Look, I've been wrong about this for almost a month. This being imminent action in Iran, so I've been wrong about that. So don't take my word for this at all. But if there is imminent action in Iran, I don't think Micron's going to be immune to it. And by the way, you sell. By the way, I've said this before. If we get whenever this happens, whether it's tonight or over the weekend, and the next morning you get a big gap down the markets, you buy that really hard, man. You back up the truck and you buy that dip on war. It works every single time, guys. Anytime there's war. Okay. So like I would love to see Micron gap down to the 20 DMA on war. That would be beautiful. Imagine buying Micron at 380 in like pre-market the morning after they go into Iran. So make sure you have cash. That's the other reason that, you know, I'm just in these war defense tech names. I want to have a lot of cash so I can buy the dip in case that scenario unfolds.
Definitely. Awesome. With that, we just hit 3 p.m. We will be live tomorrow morning at around 8:45 for the morning show. Give you a 15-minute preview for the macro, and then we'll be back again live at 2:30 going into the close. So a lot of live trading tomorrow with you guys in an interview with CDZI. If you guys want to do your research and check out that company ahead of time for the 200 of you that are still on this live stream.
All right. Thank you, everyone. And then, today, by the way, I might be going live again at 4 or just maybe in the chat room. We'll see, because we have after hour earnings in AMD, the most interesting one, but SMCI, Chipotle, Enphase, Take-Two Interactive, and APPS. Those are the ones on my list to watch. And, I love my after hours trading, so we'll be around. All right. Take care, everyone.
All right. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.